Pablo Escobar is arguably one of the world's most successful people, though it's for the wrong reasons. Escobar used a clever understanding of the system and many connections to run a business model that was decades ahead of its time. He's regarded as one of history's wealthiest and most powerful men. He was a drug lord who made ridiculous sums of money every day. Did you know Pablo has 141 houses that are worth billions of dollars? And today we're going to see how much each house is worth and how did he build them with his drug money. Stick to the end to see how the inside of these mansions look. Some of the illegal activities that some people engage in to get rich quickly include drug trafficking and money laundering. However, it is a dangerous business because governments are consistently on the lookout for such individuals. Colombian drug lords have been constantly at odds with authorities. Pablo Escobar's money from his trade is still being discovered to this day. Pablo Escobar was worth approximately $30 billion at the time of his death, which he spent lavishly. His cartel, the Medellin Drug Cartel, was extremely powerful, supplying roughly 80% of cocaine in America at its peak. His extravagant lifestyle included private planes, luxurious homes, and extravagant parties. He reportedly offered to pay off his country's $10 billion debt in the late 1980s in exchange for immunity from extradition treaties. Furthermore, while his family was on the run in 1992 to 93, Escobar allegedly burned $2 million to keep his daughter warm. Despite his best efforts, Escobar was unable to spend all of the money, and much of it was saved. Talking about his mansions, the first one is La Manuela. Everyone needs a safe place, including violent cocaine kingpin Pablo Escobar. La Manuela was built as a vacation home in Guatape, a small town 2 hours outside of Medellin. Quickly became too dangerous for visitors once Pablo moved in. It took 5 years to build, 2 years to clear the land, and 3 years for 300 laborers, each with a specific job to do. The estate as whole measures about 8 acres. The mansion is surrounded by a pool, tennis courts, a soccer field that is doubled as a helipad, stables, a guest house, a seaplane dock, a special motorcycle driveway, trees imported from all over the world, and a security force of 120 goons. The main house was, of course, lavishly designed. With its own discotheque, it was also built for functionality, with double-layered walls used to conceal mountains of cash and cocaine. Pablo Escobar's second favorite club was Manuela. It was destroyed in 1993 by a vigilante group called Los Pepes, which was funded by the rival Cali cartel, who planted 200 kilograms of TNT inside one of the bathrooms. Now, visitors are allowed to enter the place, but they must exercise caution while on the grounds. The walls are filled with holes where people have looked for hidden money. Locals note that no money has ever been discovered. Visitors can see Escobar's room and the now swampy pool, the guard towers, the bathrooms where the bomb was planted, and basically the entire estate. Second, Hacienda Napales, Spanish for Naples Estate. Pablo Escobar purchased Hacienda Napales in 1978, years before he went on the run. Escobar's estate, which measured about 7.7 square miles, quickly became as impressive as his power in the 1970s and 1980s. Although Hacienda Napales was not Pablo Escobar's only house, it was clearly his favorite. And because he is earning millions of dollars every day, he had plenty of cash to ensure that the property was outfitted with every amenity imaginable. Pablo Escobar's house served as both a luxurious retreat for the kingpin and his family and friends, as well as a display of his enormous wealth. He displayed his massive collection of classic cars and bikes here, and even built a racetrack for go-karts. The estate included a Spanish colonial house, a sculpture park, an airport, swimming pools, lush lawns, man-made lakes, a zoo full with antelope, elephants, exotic birds, giraffes, hippopotamuses, ostriches, and ponies from various continents. The ranch also had a large collection of vintage and luxury cars and motorcycles, a private airport, a brothel, and a Formula One racing track. After the drug lord was shot and killed by Colombian police in 1993, the Escobar family clashed with the Colombian government over the ownership of Hacienda Napales. The government eventually took over the land. However, officials quickly realized that they would be unable to manage all of the animals, so the majority of them were relocated to other zoos. The original structures on the property were demolished or repurposed for other purposes, and now it's a family-friendly theme park built on the legacy of a very dangerous man. Next is La Isla Grande. La Isla Grande is home to approximately 800 islanders who survive primarily through fishing and farming, despite being cut off from the modern world by a lack of running water and electrical power lines. But this idyllic setting attracted the attention of one vacationer who built a now abandoned palace. Pablo Escobar, the infamous king of cocaine and the original El Patron. A grandiose complex of luxury buildings lies on the far side of the island. hidden and secluded between the tropical forest and the Caribbean Sea. The decay of the structures reflects the fall of man. Escobar's life was filled with excess as one of the world's richest men. Escobar's plans for his secret party home in La Isla Grande were no less than extraordinary. He commissioned the construction of a massive complex that included a mansion, waterfront apartments, a palm court centered around a massive swimming pool, and a helicopter landing pad. No expense was spared in providing over 300 rooms for guests and partygoers, even down to the gold shower heads in the bathrooms. Escobar's playground was reminiscent of Miami's South Beach in the late 1980s. The mansion in La Isla Grande, now owned by the government, has steadily worsened. The sprawling complex is already being reclaimed by nature, much like a coke-fueled Xanadu. The once luxurious gardens are now home to a family of massive wild pigs. The lobby leads into a sprawling courtyard shaded by palm trees and overlooking the Caribbean Sea. Another is Monaco Building. Mr. Escobar and his family lived in the Monaco Building for years until it was bombed by rivals in 1988. The Escobar family abandoned the structure, which has since remained vacant. However, more than 25 years after Escobar's death, the six-story building with a penthouse sparked heated debate as city officials weighed the site's potential tourist draw against the desire to move on from a painful past. It was demolished by city officials in 2018 in an effort to move past the building's painful history, and it has since been turned into a memorial for Pablo Escobar's victims. La Catedral. La Catedral was a private prison with a view of Medellin, Colombia. The prison was built to the specifications of the Medellin Cartel leader Pablo Escobar as part of a 1991 agreement with the Colombian government in which Escobar agreed to surrender to authorities and serve a maximum sentence of 5 years in exchange for the Colombian government not extraditing him to the United States. In addition to the facility being built to Escobar's specifications, Escobar was given the power to select who would guard him, and it was widely assumed that he chose guards who were already loyal to him. Furthermore, the prison was thought to have been built more to keep Escobar's enemies out and assassination attempts at bay than to keep Escobar inside. Because of its facilities, the custom prison was often referred to as Hotel Escobar or Club Medellin. The cathedral had a football field, a giant dollhouse, a bar, a jacuzzi, and a waterfall. Escobar also had a telescope installed, which allowed him to look down on Medellin to his daughter's house while on the phone with her. According to PBS, the government was willing to turn a blind eye to Escobar's continued drug smuggling until it was revealed that Escobar had 4 of his lieutenants tortured and murdered within La Catedral. The Colombian government decided Escobar needed to be transferred to a regular prison, which Escobar refused. Escobar escaped in July 1992 after serving 1 year and 1 month in prison. The Colombian National Army enveloping La Catedral, Escobar was said to have simply walked out the back gate. The ensuing manhunt involved a 600-man unit force led by Colonel Hugo Martinez, who had been specially trained by the United States Delta Force. For many years, La Catedral was deserted. A group of Benedictine monks from the Benedictina Fraternidad Monastica Santa Gertrudis arrived in 2007 and transformed the site. The monks came because it was a great place for meditation and is located away from the city. In the prison, they constructed a chapel, a library, a cafeteria, a guest house for religious pilgrimages, workshops, and a memorial to cartel victims. The city of Envigado then gave the monks the entire prison in exchange for their efforts in rebuilding it. The son of a poor Colombian farmer, the king of cocaine, became one of the world's wealthiest men by the age of 35. Despite his humble origins, Pablo Escobar soared to become the leader of the Medellin Cartel, which controlled 80% of the global cocaine market. According to Roberto Escobar, the Medellin Cartel spent $2,500 per month on rubber bands used to hold stacks of bills together. Escobar is the wealthiest criminal in history with an estimated net worth of $30 billion US at the time of his death, equivalent to $70 billion in 2022. His main hobby was spending money. He built many houses just to spend time with his family. However, they have either been abandoned or left to be reclaimed by nature, or they have been transformed into something positive and used to remember the victim of Escobar's harsh reign over Colombia. What do you think of Escobar's numerous mansions? Are they excessive even for a drug lord? If you want to learn more about Pablo Escobar, take a look at our other videos and stay tuned. Share your thoughts down below, and we'll see you in the next one.